Hello, good afternoon. Welcome to JoyNews Today. We're coming to you live from our studios in Kokomlemle. We're on DTT because we're free to on DSTV channel 421 and GoTV channel 125. Coming up this afternoon, prepare for more blackouts as minority spokesperson on Parliament's Mines and Energy Committee reveals Gridco will be shedding at least 500 megawatts for the entire week. More as energy experts demand government comes clean on the current power situation. Also, this afternoon, Workers' Union of the ECG in the Ashanti region banned 4 general managers from all Regional Security Council meetings until Ashanti Regional Minister apologizes for what they describe as unlawful arrest of the Ashanti West General Manager. We'll hear from the ECG Workers' Union. Plus, Ghana Health Service urges the Ghanaian public to return to mask wearing and other COVID-19 protocols as it confirms what it says are sporadic new cases of the infection, especially in the capital, Accra. Details as the service advises Ghanaians who test positive for COVID-19 to isolate up for 7 days. We're also live on Facebook, YouTube, Instagrams, and X Spaces at JoyNews on TV. My personal handle is at Denana Aisha. Please do stay for details. Residents of the Upper West region have added their voice, urging the government to come out with a timetable to enable them plan their daily activities. Business persons offering secretarial services, students and workers say the frequent unplanned power cuts are affecting the activities, with students bearing the most brunt as they are unable to study for the exams. JoyNews' Upper West regional correspondent Rafiq Salam has more.
Unplanned power outages and punishing high temperatures, making lives uncomfortable for residents of the Upper West region. For several months, businesses have been suffering as a result of the former, making residents struggle for survival.
Residents of the Ualo community, by extension the Upper West region, are really seeing the issue of power outages, otherwise known as Dumso, but locally it's known as Kuchanyo. People who are into businesses, organizations, officers are really smartened from it. They are saying that it is not really helping them. Some few minutes ago, there were these 2 generators that were really making loud noises right here. So we are currently here to talk to the people who are managing these businesses and see how things are panning out.
Standby generators are often used, especially by few people, to run their businesses during the power outages. Others who cannot afford the services of a standby generator feel the pinch and pain and sit down like Egyptian mummies seeking for help. Lutfia Yahya is the manager of Ludeness Ventures. They are offering secretarial services, sale of stationaries, and other office equipment.
The first effect of the light outs mostly is it spoils a lot of our machines. That's the first effect. And then sometimes when it's like that and the machine shut off without you following the normal procedure to shut it down, when you want to on it again, there's a code that will come that gives you a lot of problems. You rather will incur a cost of changing part of it or something. And then secondly, when the light went out off like that, we are forced to put on the generator. That is additional cost that we add to our business. But we still cannot increase the charges because cost of living is already high. When the light went off like that, the computer sometimes we just want to off it, then it can off on again. So it means that you have to call in a mechanic or send it to a mechanic to work on it for you. So that is another additional cost you are always incur. These are costs you don't even plan for. But they have come. What can you do? Because you can't shut off the place or close down the business. You have to incur. So at the end of the day, we are running at a loss. We are not actually making profit.
Adjacent Lutenance Ventures is the name Ventures, who are also offering same service. Though the owner of the name Ventures refused to speak to us, the loud noise from an electric generator is evident enough of the inconveniences she goes through. Kenneth Ali Ongwadi is a health practitioner residing at the extreme end of the Wakabanya enclave. He painted a mental picture of the struggle they go through with the unplanned outages.
Very, very, very horrible situation. Unexpected light off at night, in the daytime, anytime the light can go off. Otherwise, you don't have, if you plan to do anything, you can be affected negatively because the light will go off and then you get disrupted. And it has since been so for a very long time now. The heat is so much, I'm highly affected. My children who want to study and go and write exams, their studies are disrupted. So they can't prepare very well for the next examination or the examination day. So before you realize, everything is off and everybody is in disarray. The heat alone will not allow you to sleep. It's very horrible. And in the Upper West here, this is the heat period of Upper West.
Whilst Kenneth Ali wants the government to come out with a timetable for the power outages, Lutfi Yaya, however, wants the government to do the needful by attending to the needs of the power companies.
They should be honest with us and give us a timetable and prepare us so that we mobilize ourselves and organize that and get to know that at this hour of the day or this period of the time or this period we shall be having light off.
You owe them, you are all the time, you are lying. So they intentionally will put this light off, telling you that it's a fault. Meanwhile, it's not a fault. It's intentionally. Let's come out and face reality.
Students of the Simon Diodon Dombo University of Business and Integrated Development Studies, SDDUBs, are also not left out in the power outage conundrum. The situation is even worse during the examination week, forcing them to use unconventional ways to study.
My hostel, we are about 7 inside. And imagine if lights up, how we feel the condition there. We are crowded and no light. Some of us are using electrical gadgets to cook. We can't cook. We go through a lot through the doom. So
some students got bitten by snakes and other dangerous reptiles as a result.
If the movement of one place to another, especially from this place to campus, there is no even street light here, and also we are girls. The girls now, we fear. We are scared, so because of that now, we always come and hang around this place, sit, so waiting for the light to come back. We just sit and refresh ourselves and waiting until the lights come before we get to our hostel because it's always warm inside.
When you start to learn, then the light is out, doom so. You get back inside and then it will come back. So you have to come down again and then go to class. You go to class and then boom, the light is out again. So because of that, people just say, oh, then it's okay, I'm not learning. Let me sleep, let me do this, let me do something else. Let me come out and sit. And now too, because of the weather, the snakes and reptiles are always coming out. So if you don't take care, you can get bitten. The last time one lady got bitten while sitting outside because of doomso. If she was inside, this thing wouldn't have happened.
So what the people in the Upper West region are now talking about is that at least they want a timetable so that they can be able to plan their lives. So they are calling on the government to come to their aid, let them have a timetable for these lights out in the Upper West region so that their businesses, their children's school studies will not be truncated. Reporting for JoyNews, Rafiq Salam. Wow.
Well, energy expert Kwame Jantuah says the power situation is much more than the government is telling us. He says it's a cocktail of financing the debts and also fueling the power generators, plus personal interests issues, among other things. His outburst comes as ranking on the Mines and Energy Committee of Parliament, John Jinapa, warns Ghanaians must prepare for more blackouts, revealing the country's power distributors will be shedding at least 500 megawatts each day for the whole of this week, adding, in spite of the certainty of the supply shortfalls, the power distributors have been given strict instructions not to share a load shedding timetable. Listen to his interaction conversation with Evans Mensah on Newsnight.
Is it not curious that this week, GRIDCO has written to the ministry to inform them they will be shedding load of 500 megawatts every day, and yet government officials have instructed ECG not to issue the load shedding timetable?
You know this how? Because I haven't seen any evidence to this effect.
Today, I'm speaking to you on fact. Check with GRIDCO whether they are not shedding 500 megawatts this week on a daily basis.
The allegation that they've been directed not to publish.
We met them.
Meanwhile, Chairman of the Mines and Energy Committee of Parliament, Atachian, says 8 resolutions have been directed at all players in the sector after its meeting with them. He says the committee is asking President Akufo-Addo to direct Finance Minister Dr. Amin Adams to do everything possible to raise money to purchase fuel to power the thermal plants after it was observed that the current intermittent power supply has been caused by a lack of fuel because there's simply no money.
To a very reasonable extent, the issues were clear to us and the problems too were obvious. And I didn't see anybody trying to say that, oh, you overruled in terms of what you are trying to assert as a problem that is confronting the nation. So it was a congregation of the key players in the supply chain. And that was a very comprehensive engagement, and it became clear to us. So we tabled about, let me count, we tabled about, I think, 8 observations and sent to the president, the stakeholders themselves, to the speaker, and then the majority leader and the minority leader, for them to understand what is going on. And then we expect that action will be taken on some of these matters to bring us to normalcy. Okay. Bear in mind that for good measure, close to over 7 years now, we have had power. So I have always said that why should we say that the closing chapter of the president? I mean, we should come to this kind of situation. So he is acutely aware of some of the challenges that is affecting the sector now, and he owes it to his name to remedy it. We said that the president should secure the synergy among the critical players in the power value chain, especially the Minister for Finance, the Minister for Energy, the Managing Director of the Electricity Company of Ghana, the Chief Executive of the Volta River Authority, and the Chief Executive of GRIDCO. We're very, very much concerned about it. One issue that cropped up was, as Riley said, fuel. You know, so we said the Minister for Finance use every financial activity to make available to the generator, namely TAPCO, TICO, TT, T1PP, TT2PP, Ameri, and the rest of them, same power and the rest of them. But if these are thermal setups, and critically, without the availability of fuel, they will not be able to generate what to expect. And it's a money issue, and it should be found.
Well, Kwame Jantuah says the earlier the government comes clean on the power situation, the better.
Why can't they bring us all together to the point and tell us it's a financing issue? Because it's more than financing. It's a cocktail of financing, debt, equipment, maintenance, cash waterfall, and fuel and personal interest. They are all part and parcel of the cocktail we are talking about. And so at this point, that GRIDCO, according to the Honorable Jinapo, that they have been given instructions not to indicate the operative word there amongst this cocktail is finance. That is the operative word. You need finance to be able to buy feedstock. You need finance because gas is a challenge. Apart from that, the other side of the question that makes it even more difficult is the personal interest bit that is in there. And we need to address, look, I was expecting the president, when he commissioned the Ameri K1 in Kumasi, I was expecting him as an opportunity to tell to Ghanaians, yes, we appreciate the patience you've had for us. However, these are the challenges, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. And these challenges, we are trying our possible best, at least for one of the challenges, to get finance in so that we can sort some of these things out. When we had the discussion on Joy Prime the other day, the gentleman from the chamber of generators, what did he say? He said they've paid some, but the majority of it hasn't been paid. So there's a debt issue there.
Meanwhile, Workers' Union of the Electricity Company of Ghana in the Ashanti region has banned 4 general managers in the Ashanti region from all Regional Security Council meetings. General managers of Ashanti East, West, South, and Sub-Transmission are all automatic members of the RECSEG. But the National Executive Committee of the Senior and Junior Workers' Union of ECG, at an emergency meeting, resolved to restrain the managers from attending the Ashanti Regional Security Council meetings until chairman of the council, who doubles as Regional Minister Simon Osei-Mensah, officially apologizes to the General Manager of the Ashanti West for what they describe as unlawfully ordering his arrest. The workers described as unprofessional the conduct of the Ashanti Regional Minister in ordering the arrest of Michael Riafe because he failed to heed the orders of the minister to reconnect Kumasi Technical University after a team from the headquarters of the ECG had disconnected their power over unpaid bills. The workers have since last week demanded an unqualified apology from Mr. Osei-Mensah, who face their wrath. In solidarity with their colleague, all workers of ECG across the country will from Wednesday wear red attire and hoist red flags in protest of his unlawful arrest. Both the senior and junior workers' unions of the power company are demanding an unqualified apology from the Ashanti Regional Minister and also the discontinuation of the case. Let's get on to the phone line and speak with Vice Chairman of the Senior Workers' Union of ECG, of the National Senior Workers of ECG, Bismarck Adoma, over the issue. Grateful for your time. What's the background to the arrest of this Ashanti Regional manager of which you are throwing your weight behind?
What happened was the Kumasi Technical University was owing ECG, and our national task force came to Kumasi to disconnect. After the disconnection, the regional minister reported to the Ghana police, Ashanti region, for him to be arrested. He went there, he was writing a statement and asked to bail himself. That's the cause of our action.
But this university that was disconnected, were they giving prior notice?
They have owing us for a long time, and they were supposed to pay and they were not paying.
Is there no other way to resolve this issue? How long do you intend to go with this?
What we have said is tomorrow we are going to wear the red and then hold the red throughout the country. Our national executive, that's the next met yesterday, and affirmed it, as you said, and we also instructed our 4 general managers in Ashanti region not to attend any meeting called by the regional minister until he did the apology, until he apologized to us.
How long do you want to continue with this?
Oh, we gave it by the close of day, the deadline. If you go ahead and do it by the close of today, everything will end today. But if you don't go ahead, the action will follow as when we decide what to do.
That means that if he doesn't apologize, you will be doing this for how long?
Tomorrow is the rest, and then the flag hosting, instructed our general manager not to attend any meeting. By the close of tomorrow, if we don't hear anything, the next will meet again and take the next line of action.
Have you had any engagement with the Ashanti Regional Minister for an amicable solution to this matter?
We have not had anything for him since we put our statement out.
You don't think that meeting him personally to talk about this would be a better solution to this matter?
Since we put our statement out, he has been on air defending what he did. So meaning he's not wanted to have it settled amicably.
So that means that if he doesn't apologize, this will continue until he apologizes. Is that what you're telling?
After tomorrow, the NEC will meet and take another decision what to do then.
Grateful for your time. Bismarck Adoma is National Vice Chairman of the ECG National Workers Union. Let's get on to other stories. The Ministry of Sanitation and the Ghana Education Service are partnering to educate students from various special schools across the country on menstrual health and hygiene. Under the Water, Sanitation and Hygiene Service, this initiative will be a significant intervention to increasing school attendance while reducing absenteeism among girls, especially during menstruation. This is also to reduce menstrual stigmatization among students with special needs. There's more in this report.
The onset of menstruation means a new phase for new vulnerabilities in the lives of adolescents. Yet many adolescent girls face stigma, harassment and social exclusion during menstruation. As part of efforts to curb the growing stigmatization among adolescent girls, the Ghana Education Service and the Ministry of Sanitation are reaching out to special schools. The support will include the provision of educational materials on menstruation for the differently abled, especially visually impaired students. Director in charge of School Health Program at the GES, Theresa Opon-Mensah, says heads of institutions and teachers are being trained on how to ensure inclusivity among differently abled adolescent girls.
We intend to support the girls in our schools. And that is why we are giving the teachers the requisite knowledge and skills for them to use the Braille to educate the children in the special schools on menstrual health and hygiene. We have produced materials on menstrual hygiene for years for the normal in quote schools. And we feel this is a time to also Braille those materials to continue with the education for the special children. And with the help of the Gamma project from the Ministry of Sanitation and Water Resources, we have been able to produce these materials for use in the schools.
Programs Manager at the Ministry of Sanitation, Charlotte Ejimafo, highlighted the need for the project to take off.
We have realized that we have special girls who normally stay out of school because of access to infrastructure, because of educational materials that are not fit for purpose for them, and even stigmatization and discrimination against girls with special needs. So in Ghana we have about 50 special schools, and 10 of them are visually impaired schools. And they use different materials to learn. So together with Ghana Education Service and the Ghana Sanitation and Water Project, which is supported by World Bank, we have been able to design materials that they will be able to, like the brailles for the visually impaired. We do audios and then flip chart pictures. We use the tools that they understand for them to be able to have opportunity to learn about menstrual hygiene management, and then also to support a girl, a special girl, to be able to menstruate hygienically, privately, and then boost their confidence, and they'll be able to stay in school and then learn.
Materials for the menstrual health and hygiene education for visually impaired students will include Braille books, which will enhance their learning capabilities.
This is the book we have Braille for the visually impaired, and we are using for the menstrual hygiene training. This will help the visually impaired to also get full knowledge and information about the menstrual hygiene that is being taught. So it is no more abstract to them, it is very practical to them. So whatever you have for the sighted child, we have brailled it. So if you ask the child what is puberty, the child picks this book and he or she reads and gets the same information as the sighted person.
For Joy News, Nana Boachedam Kumasi.
Let's stick with education, because the National Union of Ghana Students is advocating for the urgent decapping of GET to facilitate development in the country's education sector. According to the president of the union, Daniel Oponchireme, the cap on the GET is hindering the progress of education, thus necessitating its immediate removal to prevent the risk of stagnation. He made the remarks at a national conference of the union in Accra.
Established in 2000, the GET Fund aims to provide financial support to public institutions under the Ministry of Education for the development and maintenance of essential academic facilities and infrastructure nationwide. However, with the passage of the Capping and Realignment Act 947 of 2017, government expenditure and investment in the education sector are constrained under the earmarked funds. NUC's president, Daniel Opontreme, insists that the fund must be urgently decapped.
One key thing we looked at was the uncapping of GET fund. We still find it worrying and quite disheartening why the main statutory funds that funds education in this country has been capped. If that happens, it puts the educational sector or the educational ministry in a very tight corner in getting the necessary resources to materialize the good visions and even the aspirations we want to see in the educational ecosystem. So we are still pushing vehemently for the uncapping of GET fund. The Student Loan Trust Fund is not able to fund a lot of our students. Why? Because we've not been able to uncap GET fund.
He also stressed the need to depoliticize education, particularly during this campaign season, as it could have adverse consequences for the country.
Politicization has been happening right from the word go. It's been happening. That's how come we are still pushing for the non-politicization, because it's really affecting a lot of things. Today we have this system coming in. Today another party comes and reduces it. Another party goes there to campaign and already running systems. We go and then it's a whole lot of different things. And with the youth, we sit back and we feel very worried on how our future is being dwindled. The educational ecosystem of our country should not be politicized, especially when this country we are gradually developing or we are gradually gravitating towards the stage we want to find our educational sector in. So we are still asking various political parties, both MPP, both NDC, that the educational system of our country should not be politicized.
In addition, Education Minister Dr. Yao Osei-Duchim emphasized the importance of embracing science, technology, engineering and mathematics, highlighting their potential to boost the country's economy.
So we talk about quality education, we talk about relevance of education system. I'll give an example of why you hear us talking about STEM, Just take the field of engineering. In Vietnam, with a population of 97 million, every year 100,000 engineers are graduated from their universities. As a result of that, companies like Samsung has established its largest manufacturing plant there. If you are using a Samsung phone, it may be coming from Vietnam. So STEM education has democratized or can democratize economic opportunity.
Students nationwide are urged to play their part in holding politicians accountable for interventions in education. Peace Vojogbes report for Joy News.
The Ghana Health Service is urging the Ghanaian public to return to mask wearing and other COVID-19 protocols as it confirms what it says are sporadic new cases of the infection, especially in the capital, Accra. Though the Ghana Health Service says such new cases are not strange, it wants the public to observe the COVID-19 protocols such as mask wearing, social distancing and isolation if they test positive for the virus. Here's Head of Health Desk here at JoyNews, Fresh Smith, with a breakdown.
Well, in the hospitals, we don't have anyone in severe or critical condition from COVID, mainly maybe because a lot of us have taken the COVID-19 vaccine and therefore are not suffering from the severity of it. We also know some persons have not taken the vaccine, and such persons will have a difficult time dealing with COVID once they get it. So the advice is for those who haven't taken the vaccine to go for it now. As it stands, Aisha, we don't know the numbers yet because the latest information from the Ghana Health Service dashboard, as we can see on the screen, is showing that as at the 7th of April, we had 21 active cases in our system now. No severe or critical condition reported in there. However, things have changed since that time, and it is possible that we have a lot more cases that has not been reported or updated on the dashboard yet. They've also been looking at the positivity rates based on the surveillance they've conducted by the Ghana Health Service, and they looked at routine surveillance. They had 12.4% of positivity rate in that area, and then they looked at enhanced contact tracing as well, which produced 8.8% positivity rate. we had 0.9% positivity rate for those traveling into Ghana.
We're still live on JoyNews Today. Let's take a break. When we return, we'll bring you the very latest from the world of business.
Hi, welcome to Business. My name is Darryl Kwao. Inflation is expected to decline to 24.6% year-on-year this month from 25.8% recorded in March 2024. That's according to IC Securities. However, the month-on-month inflation will increase to 1.4%. Here's more in this report.
IC Securities also revised its end-of-year inflation to 16.9% plus or minus 1.0 percentage points. This is against its earlier forecast of 16.1% plus or minus 1.0 percentage points. According to the research firm, its estimations suggest that the 10.6% year-to-date depreciation of the cedi could elevate Ghana's annual inflation profile by between 80 basis points and 100 basis points at the end of 2024, as the foreign exchange pressures pass through higher transport fares, utility tariffs, and imported items. In the March 2024 CPI data, transport inflation witnessed the steepest rise in its share of headline inflation, climbing from the 11th most influential item to the 8th position. Despite the slightly elevated upside risk to inflation, the spike in March 2024 was largely expected on the back of unfavorable base effect. IC Securities maintained its expectation for a generally non-linear disinflation path in 2024 and view the March upsurge as a transitory bump on the disinflation journey.
Now, traders at the Santase market in the Ashanti Regional Capital, Kumasi, have raised issues with the stalled construction of a market center to facilitate economic activities in the area. Since a sword cutting ceremony in 2022, the new trading center now sits in weeds and has become a home for rodents, whilst its intended occupants wallow under poor marketing conditions. At a press briefing, the market women highlighted the adverse impact of the stalled project on their trading and well-being.
Sword cutting for the redevelopment of the Santase market was held on May 12, 2022, with an expected 24-month completion period. Barely 2 years after the start of the project, it stands neglected at the early stage of construction. The market has weeds grown all over, becoming a den for rodents and reptiles. Here is NDC's parliamentary candidate for Nshayeso, Faustina Derry Bayo.
Santase Dry, it serves so many communities around. So you share any TUC, functional bra, Atre. Samia na omuni eja. Obia depending on Santase markets. Let's say egu. Say ye ba besi jafo frama ye maamenum.
This is the only market here at Santase, and for the past 2 years, the contractor has abandoned this market project.
Ashanti region. To my be a Mudibambiano or Muye. A jacka cry, Sebio and Papa John Jamani Mahama power. Young was see including all my tickets here. And you be a crowd on some markets. What's to see what a monotone, Emma Menum Equidi Jawum. Not into a Santase market. Yabuja Yagu 2 good years.
The market is the only major trading place serving the people of Santase, Fanchenebra, TUC, and Yinim and surrounding communities. The modern market is designed to be fitted with solar power, a 20-seater KVIP, a police station, a fire post, a pharmacy, crèche, among other facilities to make business activities thrive and boost the socio-economic development of the area. Some market women who spoke with Love Business expressed their displeasure over the current state of the market and the risk involved in trading at the temporary place given to them. We are suffering here at the market. It hasn't been easy. Security is also a challenge. Emmanuel Owusu's reports for Joy News.
And that's it for this segment. Sports is coming up next. Don't go anywhere.
Let's bring you sports here on Joy News Today. I am Muftaru Nabila Abla, the head coach of Dreams FC. Abdul Karim Zito says the performance put out by his boys in the CAF Confederation Cup semi-final first leg against Zamalek in Cairo surprised the Egyptians. According to him, the strategy that they used in approaching the game was the reason why they were able to secure a draw in the first leg of the semi-final.
Before you go into any game as a coach, you've got to ask yourself what you need in that game. And then when you come to compromise, you come to conclusion that this is what you want, then you have to prepare towards that objectives. So I think I'm very happy I told you, at least we are going in for a win. At least if you don't get a win, the draw will be better for us. That was the promise I gave to you. So we welcome it and then we went there. I know you were at training. You saw how we were seriously working on that issue, because when you look at Zamalek, the combination of play is very fantastic, and so you got to plan how to stop them and then stop them. So I think we were lucky. We had our own game, and then so we are coming to work harder than what we did to face them.
On Sunday.
Yeah.
How difficult is it?
No, it will be very, very difficult because they were surprised. You know, sometimes I say there's positive and negative about all issues in the world. When you look at our position in the league, it will give you different impression about Dreams. So it was like, who are these boys? Blah, blah. And you see us, small boys. So before they realize this is what they wanted and they could not get it, they have to push, fighting the referees and so forth. So I think we've all seen it before. We relied on information, but now we've seen it live. So we have to plan seriously how to face them and then we'll change the party anyway. I will not sit back because 1-0 is we all have the chances. But the advantage we are having is we are playing home.
That's your sports for now. We do have more sports stories on myjoyonline.com. We appreciate your time.
Good afternoon. Welcome to the Showbiz segment with me, Jacqueline Ansuma Yeboah. Now, Ghanaian playwright Chief Moment has suggested ways of making theatre in Ghana more vibrant. The curator of the month's award theatrical project told Kwame Jantuah on Joy FM Showbiz A to Z that one of the ways of elevating the art is by doing a lot of collaborations.
Maybe one of the things that we can do in our industry as we all now develop capital. When I say capital, I just don't mean financial capital, social capital, literary capital, all kinds of capital, is to pull those resources together. So one of the things I would actually even propose, at some point, in a year or two to come is for us to do a major theater festival. That's one of the strategies I was discussing with one professor of arts here. So imagine myself, George Quay, Latif, Uncle Ebo White, we all come together and say we're doing a major theater festival, right? So we're not only pulling resources together, we're also pulling audiences together, and all our machines are working to grow, because at the end of the day, one person will not be able to grow the industry on their own. So it is our collective effort.
Well, it's a wrap for the Showbiz segments with me, Jacqueline Ansuma Yeboah. Over to you, Aisha.
Rather on a sad note, I think that the death of Koda, he's done some great songs. I've listened to a few of them, very nice. Oh, may his soul rest in peace. Thanks for bringing us showbiz. That'll be it for the bulletin. My name is Aisha Bryan. Log on to myjoyonline.com for more of the news and updates of all the developing stories. My name is Aisha Bryan. Do enjoy the rest of our programs.